obviously when Ethan made his debut at 15, there's been a lot of hype surrounding him. There's been a lot of discourse surrounding him of like, oh, Arteta isn't letting him and MLS like have their time. They're having their time now. I think we're being proven that it was worth the wait.
Yeah, it's time to be 100%. Patient with them. Just like he was patient with the.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Mitch. Hi, I'm here with Gabby. Gabby, we won against Man City, 5-1. Let's fucking go.
As you can tell, we are fucking gassed. They got shellacked. Blammed. A good old-fashioned ass whooping.
I'm kind of just in disbelief. Like, I know we're a better team than them. That's not a question, you know? But we fucking stomped them. We fully, from start to finish, just were the fucking better team. And it was awesome. Although, I don't know if at halftime I thought it was going to be 5-1 by the end of the game. But holy shit, it's 5-1. Our Arsenal just fucked shit up today. We've never been quite so back. I think the title race is back on. We're going to win the league. We're never going to lose again, is what we need to be saying. Miss Negative Nelly is going to disagree with me, but I need you to just
keep.
Gabby, you gotta ride this high. You gotta ride this high. This is what being a sports fan's all about.
Negative. Yeah, I'll let you have that for today. Today only.
Guys, this is a one-off podcast. Gabby's not going to say anything negative. No Coach and Dean with us today. I'm sure Coach will have an instant reaction after the game that will probably be up on YouTube before this comes out. So go check that out. I'm sure he'll have extended thoughts on the main pod as well. Dean is in Nigeria, so I'm sure he's having a blast back in the homeland, but he's unable to join us today.
I like homeland. It's crazy. You're right.
Nigerian man going back to Nigeria. There's nothing I said that was wrong.
Oh my god. We're starting off Black History Month for the Bags.
Hey, it's not on me that they gave me the reins to host the first podcast of Black History Month. I don't know why we did this either. It's a scheduling thing. Let's get into the game. Let's start out with the lineup today, which I was on Shades of Blue this week, our friends over at Shades of Blue.
As was I.
And I was asked to predict the lineup, and I got it spot on, I think. I didn't predict that 5 would be in it because I never predict that 5 would be in it. So other than that, I got it wrong. But I think Raya was the big worry because he missed the Champions League game.
You already know that Mikel is a pathological liar.
Yeah.
He's a liar. I knew Ryan was going to play this game. After he saw another do that nonsense, I knew he was going to play this game.
It's like, hey man, you're 80% and you're 80% better than Neto when you're like this. Then I think there was a little bit of a question mark in my head on left back because I think that Miles 100% deserves to start every single game right now. And this game fucking proved that even more. But Absolutely. After Calafiori's heroics last week against Wolves, I thought there was maybe a chance that Calafiori get the start at left back.
I thought that they would be still a little bit cautious. I couldn't see them putting Calafiori, even if he was fit against the City, just because he is very much a Italian style and want to run around and go hard into tackles, and they're trying to relax before you get hurt again. Let's relax. So I thought Miles and Skelly was going to start.
100%. And then I also thought that there was a chance for Wanyeri, but if Miles was starting, I didn't feel like we were going to start both of them against City. And it felt like a game that, a big game of this magnitude feels like a game where Arteta is I'm going to trust the more senior players of Trossard and Martinelli, and that's exactly what we saw today. Speaking of Trossard, I want to kind of talk about him for a little bit. He didn't get on the score sheet. Half our fucking team did, though. I thought Trossard was really, really bright today and has been for
he was.
He's finding his form again. What did you think about how he was?
I thought he played really well today. I thought he's played really well in the last few games though. 100%. He's been showing a lot of onus of when I complain about Martinelli, this is what I'm talking about, because I think that obviously I think that Martinelli has a higher ceiling than Trossard, but Trossard just shows it every game. He'll give you something. He may not get on the score sheet, but he'll give you something. And even if he does get on the score sheet, it's the opposite. He'll probably do nothing and then get on the score sheet, which is funny.
Yeah.
But he was giving Matheus Nunes a hell of a day. Like, that guy was on skates. I
Yeah.
don't know what was going on that left side, but him and Bernardo Silva were fighting. It was just crazy. I was like, oh, you were up for it today. For real. I think he was really pissed off. One, that he didn't score, and was taken off before that, but also that he got the red card at the Etihad. I think he
Yeah.
really wanted to like stick that to City.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was interesting, like when we saw the two of them starting. I think Martinelli has been a better option on the right side when the two of them are starting together, since Stuck has been absent. But I was like a little curious to see what we would do today, just because Matheus Nunes was a makeshift right back for them today. I felt like Martinelli would maybe be the better choice to play on the left, just because he can like truly like
Yeah.
go to work against him. But Trossard did a great job. Put that midfielder playing right back on skates, and had a really, really good performance today. Let's get into the game. Luckily, I think for one of the very few times this season, the first thing we're going to talk about in this game is an Arsenal goal.
Crazy.
What?
I know.
Holy shit. Martin Odegaard in the second minute opens the scoring for the Arsenal in this game. What did you make of the goal?
I hadn't even turned the game on yet. Like, I was still getting Peacock up, and I was like, it says 1-0 to Huh? Like, I was like, what happened? Like, what is going on? But then they showed the replay, and I was like, oh, so we just pressed them into hell. Like, that's what happened. I think it was Rice who was the one who cut off the pass for probably Kovacic, I think it was. And then, like, Kai gets the ball, easy tap in for Odegaard. He has to have a little concentration because it does reflect off of his man, but, like, this is a good goal. Like, a really good, especially to get early on, because I think we like to sit into games a little bit too much. I think we really wanted to start the game on a good foot. Like, our energy levels was really high in that first half, and it showed in that first goal, for sure.
Yeah, I think our press is always pretty energetic, but I don't know if I've seen our press as pumped up as they were today.
Yeah.
Particularly in the first half, and they were just, well, I guess the entire game our press was on it, and we were making City look like Southampton trying to play out of the back when they were doing that earlier in the season. Like, they were just constantly making errors that the City of the last few years absolutely do not make, and make you pay for if you aren't going to be successful with your pressing. Instead, we made them pay. And especially with that opening goal, it was really, really nice to see. Also, huge to get Odegaard on the score sheet. I feel like he needs that.
Yeah.
And getting a goal like that to open the scoring in this kind of game is exactly what we needed.
And I loved all the celebrations that they did. All of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at the beginning of the Odegaards, all of the celebrations were like, yeah. Some machismo.
The favorite and what Peacock kept showing over and over was Gabrielle's celebration to the goal. Of just getting in Haaland's face. And this like little rivalry they've got is so wonderful. I'm going to let you go long on Gabrielle because I know that's your guy.
That's my boy. Yeah, that's the captain in my heart. Like, I love Gabrielle down. After that game at the Etihad, he said in his interview that, like, they really wanted to win that game. They thought they were going to win that game. That last minute equalizer didn't break them, but it was disappointing to concede there. But he was like, we're waiting for them at our ground. We're waiting for them. Like, we'll see what happens when you come to the Emirates. And they absolutely feel justified. He got shellacked. I know Haaland scored, but he didn't score on Gabriel. Okay? Gabriel would never have let that happen.
That's on that bum Saliba. We don't need to worry about it.
Like, he was talking shit. Like, and Gabriel's not, like, really a talker that much. I mean, he'll have some antics on the pitch a little bit, but it's all, like, respect and stuff like that. I think he really hates City, like, for real. Like, that's bad blood for real. He really does not like them. He does not like Haaland, and he was like, fuck you for real.
Yeah.
Him laughing in his face, the amount of times I saw people tweet that who was it, the Man United Arsenal matchup between Van Nistelrooy and
Keown.
Thank you, Martin Keown. Like, that was so funny because that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
100%.
I love it. Real beef is back.
Real beef is back. These teams fucking hate each other, and it rules. That's why it's just like, Yeah, I saw people on the timeline after this game being like, "They're still 6 points back. Why are Arsenal fans like?" It's like, let's fucking enjoy a fucking
They
like. I would be
listen.
celebrating like this a 5-1 win over relegation fodder, let alone against Man City. Like
Yeah,
this is, I'm going to celebrate the hell out of this. You have to take these moments as a sports fan to be thrilled and be happy when your team wins these kinds of
we
games.
did the thing that Chelsea couldn't do.
Yeah,
Like literally, we capitalized on the chances early, and because we already knew City was going to grow into the game. At least I did. I was like, just hurry up and score so we can then score again. Like that's what I need to happen.
yeah. It took a little bit for them to grow into the game, but it's probably like there was two spots in the second half that I feel like it was definitely like the last like 15 minutes of the second half, or sorry, of the first half, and then there was like a 5 minute period, kind of a little bit after the goal, like around the 20th minute, that I felt like City were kind of getting control of the game a little bit, and it was really the only time that I
I
felt
know
like
we
they
don't
had
want to
serious.
do it, but it's
What?
very much giving. Like we have to talk about that Kai miss.
Oh yeah, I was framing it in between of like I will talk about the Kai mess in between it. But like,
I'm ready to get to
yeah,
the second half, but yeah,
100%. There were some moments, both in both these periods where Raya came up fucking huge, and Arsenal really bent but didn't break, which was really really nice to see. And then there was the moment in between those periods of Kai missing, a
yeah.
pretty similar setup to the first goal of us catching City out in a press. Great tackle by Declan Rice to kick that ball out. I think Kai just needs to go first time when he gets the ball. He hesitates a little bit, allows Ortega to get back in position, allows John Stones to be on the line, but it doesn't even matter where they're positioned if you don't hit it on target. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, he did not hit it on target in that kind of opportunity, which is just like real, just like, oh shit, I hope this doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. And guess what? It didn't. Get fucked. Let's go.
It did not. I think that the problem with that chance, obviously, he has a lot of time to think about that chance, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of our players are more instinctual. They don't have the inevitability about them. He's very Stina about him in that chance. Um, I just I think that confidence tends to be a double-edged sword, especially with Kai. We all know that confidence is a hell of a drug, and when you are confident, as you could see with Martinelli, like when you are confident, everything that you shoot is you think it's going into the back of the net, so you keep shooting.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword because when you lack confidence, you never want to shoot because you always think something else is the better option. Let me pass it to someone else, which is what he did to Odegaard for the first goal, which is why we scored. But I just knew he wasn't going to score there. Like he's just not confident. I can't figure out how to make him more confident other than to like get him more chances and get him scoring. But I feel like at this point, the more chances he gets, the more he misses, which is why he keeps passing the ball. Um, this all started with that penalty that Trossard took from him, but that's okay. Um, but it didn't come back to bite us, and that's the most important thing. And he also scored again later on, which we will talk about.
Absolutely, we will. Um, but yeah, it was a lot of pressure from City late in the half. Um, some other things that were kind of are a little bit miscellaneous that I wanted to talk about that or in the first half was Miles. Specifically the way that he draws fouls as a defender is so fascinating.
He shifts
Because
his feet
he's
very quickly.
yeah, and he's just like not a huge guy and uses his body in such a way where it's like he knows when to like when the pressure point is of like when to go down, and he's just really really good at drawing these fouls, but also just getting out of pressure. I've said it so many times, but he does not play like an 18-year-old, and it's
No, it doesn't.
so he is so fun to watch.
He came from the
Um,
school of Bukayo Saka. That's why.
100%. And then one last thing from the first half, and I guess this is an overarching thing in the game. Odegaard got the opening goal, and that was great. His final ball was really lacking today, other than that. It was like, granted, I think sometimes we forget how much of like a psychic connection that him and Saka have. Like they just like are so good at playing next to each other where they just constantly know where the other one is going to be, and it's really really effective.
I agree.
And clearly he doesn't have that same thing with Martinelli. So like there was a couple miscues or just a couple like weight on the ball that was off. And so that was a little bit disappointing to see from Martin. I still feel like he was yapping the entire time about Odegaard, and hopefully that was heard. Because you were frozen on my screen while I was talking, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep talking until I see her moving again.
Hey, I was
All
like,
right.
let me not start because he's going.
Well, maybe me talking shit about Odegaard will be lost to oblivion. We may never know. Let's move on to the second half. And
Wait, did Ryan make the saves in
um,
the first half or the second half?
the first half were the big
Oh, those
saves.
are. I don't want to gloss over those because they were so important.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I know they were like flashing like half moments and stuff like that, but like I love him so much. Like I love Ryan so much. He's such a good goalkeeper. I
Yeah,
know every goalkeeper sometimes make mistakes, and like a lot of people have criticisms for Ryan because he's shorter or whatever. But he's just such a good goalkeeper. He absolutely kept us in this game.
yeah,
Um, that first chance from that corner
yeah.
where it's like going into the net and he saves it is like my God. Like thank God. I know I should trust that you're going to make that save, but I'm so glad that you did because I've seen us have the worst luck and had the most flukiest of goals go in. And that wasn't even a fluky goal. That would have
Mhm.
if it was scored. But the second one, that was just really good instincts, like really like down to the floor quickly, like
Yeah,
instinctual. And I was like, yeah, he's on it today. I love this for us. And he was just really
absolutely.
calm playing out of the back, by the way. Like the whole
Yeah,
game, really calm playing out of the back. I was like, you don't seem phased at all. Like big game player for real.
yeah.
I love that guy. Love that
Well,
guy.
he had to miss the Champions League trip just to get a haircut. I don't think he was injured. I think he was just getting a haircut, and it just took a while.
Yeah,
He
I
missed
think
the
that
flight.
Arteta was like, let's just give Neto like a minute or so. Like, one game at least. He can't play the cup games and we're going to go out of those anyway. So let's play one Champions League. And then he saw what he did and he was like, it's not going to happen again. You will never ever get rest. So sorry. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I saw an article this week that proposed that like Arsenal could try to get a loan deal for Evan Ferguson, but to do that they would have to like either
cancel one of our
cancel
loans.
or make one of the things permanent. And I saw the article was like, well, they can make the Neto loan deal permanent. I'm like, why the fuck would we do that?
No.
Cancel the loan deal before you make it permanent. Like I'd rather see an 18-year-old going in a goal at
Yeah,
that
I was
point.
like, Stepford, it's your time now. Like,
Yeah.
no.
100%. Um, well, how did you feel going into the half up 1-0?
Up 1-0, I still knew that City was going to score. So I was like, we have to score again. Um, I was hoping that Kai chance didn't go and like kill us later on. Because City didn't have any onus to score, if that makes sense. They were just like possession for possession's sake, didn't know what to do with the ball. Philip Foden, your team needs you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I know they're doing nothing right now, but they'll probably create something out of nothing and score, which is what they did in the second half. So we need to score again
Yep.
because I can't see our team like conceding like 3 or something like that crazy. Not against City. So I was like, if we score 2 more, then I think we can win this. But I know we're going to concede at least 1, so we need to score 2 more.
Yeah, I
And we
think
scored more than 2.
Where Arsenal are at right now, which is why there was so much focus on the Kai miss in the first half, because it's like that kind of miss can prove very costly when you're a team that
Yeah.
kind of struggles to score goals of late. And also is always going to be the noise around Arsenal, which is like we need a striker, we need a pure number 9, we need an actual striker. That's always just going to be the conversation whenever Kai misses a chance. It's unfair to him. He's at 20 GA for the season. Like that's
Which is
crazy.
what I said he was going to get in the summer. I said, I guarantee you Kai gets 20 GA. Like,
And we're not even it's the beginning of February. Like that's a crazy amount of goals and assists right now.
yeah,
Granted, it's all
he's still our
competition,
top
so there's a
scorer.
little bit of Carabao Cup stat padding in there, but for the
Yeah.
most part, it's genuine GA, which is very very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting into the second half, Holland gets a goal out of nothing. A really really nice goal from City. I will 100% give them that. It was a really nice ball in. Holland obviously does a very very smart striker thing of like before the ball's even kicked, he's trying to get in front of Saliba. Saliba's kind of caught sleeping a little bit. He gets up, puts it away, and has a loud ass celebration at the city end.
I hated that goal. I hated it. Because I just knew after Gabrielle laughed in his face, he was gonna score, and I
Yeah.
was trying to figure. I was like, I feel like this is gonna come in an either fluky way or not against Gabrielle. That's what happened. Because I was like, Gabrielle, like right before he crosses the ball, I forgot who crossed it to him, but right before they cross the ball, Gabrielle is getting into the box and he's telling Saliba, like, you have to watch him, like, because I'm covering space now. I can't
Mhm.
be on him. We can't both be covering the same man. And he tells him to come over. And then right when he crosses it, just does that little movement where he gets in front of Saliba, and Saliba doesn't even jump. He can't. He's already in the air, and he gets it on target. Raya can't save that. It would have been nice if he did, though. A really, really good save. But
That'd be a tough ask for him.
yeah, tough ass. So I was like, hey, fair enough. But now I can breathe because I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that shoe to drop. So now I'm like, now we can go and play, because I felt like after we scored our goal, and Kai's miss, even leading up before their goal, I felt like we were in our own box, in our own half too much. We were letting them have too much of the ball. We were sitting deep, telling them to break us down, and they did. I was like, you can't play like this. You have to keep going at them. You have to keep going, because they're going to give you more chances. They're going to make mistakes at the backs. They're going to do nonsense. Like, you have to keep running at them. And
Yeah.
after they scored that goal, I was like, all right, now we're going to have to like put our foot on the gas, because they don't want to lose this game. They want to win this game.
Yeah, that it felt like a demoralizing goal for me, where it was just like, fuck. Like anytime you've been the better team, you're winning, and then all of a
If
sudden it's a
anybody's
tie
watching this,
game.
this is orange juice. This is orange juice. It's not alcohol.
It's only vodka in there. She showed it earlier. It's fully just vodka. There's no orange juice in there. She's just drinking straight vodka because that's how good an Arsenal win feels, where you can just drink straight vodka and don't worry about it. That's what's happening right now here on the SPS Arsenal edition. After that goal, it felt like demoralizing to me, just because it's just like, now we have to just like go get another goal, and it just feels so laborious to try to get a goal for Arsenal right now. But the Wind scored a goal right after it. Like, somehow a
Listen,
ball just flew, hit John Stones in the back, and then went into the goal, and then Arsenal had the lead again.
this is one thing that I missed from last season, or actually maybe even 2 seasons ago, that we lost last season, where our opposition would score a goal and immediately we'd respond. It's
Yeah.
something that we haven't done as much in the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's partially because we have more control now. But
Mm-hmm.
that response gene, I needed us to get that back in blood.
Yeah.
I needed us to get that back. And we did. I can't remember who made the pass, but like, you know who scored. We all know who scored.
Yeah, the Wind.
I think it deflected into the net. They almost wanted to call it an own goal.
Yeah,
And I
it's
was
a
like,
John Stones own goal, 100%.
I said, we'll take those. We'll
Yeah,
take those. I love
absolutely.
that for us. Now
We
go
love
and
a
get
John.
another one.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled that we scored 3 more goals after this. It means we don't have to talk about this for very long.
Correct.
Because like if we won 2-1, it's like, all right, well, the fuck, the winning goal was scored by the Wind. I don't want to talk about the Wind. So let's move on to our third goal, which holy shit, Miles Lewis-Skelly might be my favorite Arsenal player at this point. Like,
Man,
he hasn't even played 20 games for the team. And I love this guy so fucking much.
love
We
him so much.
got the ball in that kind of position, and there was like a couple touches before he actually got the ball to shoot and score. I was like, shoot, take a shot.
Yeah,
Like, he
I was
almost had like
screaming.
an opportunity, and then Rice feeds him in, and an 18-year-old midfielder turned left back, put the ball in his right foot, and scored his first ever Arsenal goal against Manchester City
Oh my
as a
god.
dagger, and then goes and does the Holland celebration after Holland was asking him, who the fuck are you, after the last game. Holy
Cojones.
shit, this guy rules.
I love him so much. I honestly think some of my favorite players in this team, which a lot of you know if you listen to this pod a lot, are defenders. All of our defenders have cojones. Like, they're all like, I don't give a fuck. Let's just do whatever. Like, you see it with Calafiori, you can see it with Miles, with Gabrielle. Like, they're all just, yeah, we need this. Like, we're him getting the ball and shooting with his opposite foot, his weaker foot into the back of the net is just like, Granted, Ortega should have done better with the ball, but like I don't care.
I don't
That's
give
just
a
a great goal.
shit.
It's just a great goal, and when we needed it, scoring when we needed it. You know what I mean? Like he played well the whole entire game. He did not look phased at all in a big game, as he never does.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, you're that guy. Like you're him, and you know you're him, and I love that
Yeah.
for you.
It's so fucking cool to see an 18-year-old academy kid just be like so much of that guy. Like it's so sick. He
Youngest
is.
boss man you've ever seen.
Yeah, right. He's. Oh my god. I don't have a. I don't. I'm like at a loss for words of like how many good things I can say about Miles Lewis-Skelly. This guy is just fucking unbelievable, and the gall to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do the Holland celebration after I score my first ever goal.
I know, and we haven't even seen him in midfield yet. That's what's making me more excited. It's like
I
he's
don't
playing
want to see
out
him
of
in midfield.
position. You know, I
No.
wouldn't mind like putting him in midfield to see what he can do. Like when he doesn't have to like actually play the left back position. You know, if you play Calafiori there and put him in midfield to just run around and do whatever, I would love
Mm-hmm.
to see that because he's so he has that thing that either he's gonna get the intensity to get the ball moving, get the ball into the box to
Yeah.
someone, or he's gonna take it himself. And he's very technically secure, extremely
Yeah.
technically secure. He does not lose the ball a lot at all, and he doesn't feel phased with physicality. You know, you can't bully him off the ball, even though he's younger, and I love that.
Yeah, I think he's a really interesting player. I mean, like we obviously invert our left back, and so when he comes into midfield, when he's inverting, he looks super confident doing that because he was a midfielder. That makes sense. But he's so press resistant, and
I just
is
see
just
the bigger sugar in the game.
I can't afford that. I don't make that kind of money. Uh, he's just so press resistant and like he moves like a number six, 100%. So like if we ever did play him there, I'd be more than happy to see it. But this kind of production out of your left back and like the fact that he's able to hang with like really tricky wingers and stuff like that, why move him? Like we want someone inverting anyway. So if he can defensively be pretty sound against a team like Man City, why would we move him? Why would we play anyone else there? He's
You're
just
right.
so.
You know what we should do? Put like Havertz back in midfield and put Calafiori at the 9. Fuck it, let's go.
Let's ride, baby. Cocaine
Let's
soccer.
ride.
Come on.
I would actually
uh,
love to see that just for an experiment.
yeah,
I feel like
100%.
Calafiori would score crazy goals.
Yeah. Um, But oh my god, that finish from Miles is just a wonderful goal. Just getting on your right foot, put in the back of the net at 18 years old. What a fucking guy! I said this after the North London Derby. There's nothing like a fired up academy kid to bring the feeling back.
No, I love playing some of the youngsters. They just have that thing. Like even if they make a mistake, like you're not too pressed about it because they're still kids. They're still
Mm-hmm.
learning. And when they do something well, you're like heads on Pluto. Like this is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
That's how I feel when I
absolutely,
watch him.
100%. Moving on. Breaking news: Bernardo Silva is a dirty player.
Fucking
This
rat.
is things that we didn't know before. But somehow he went the entire game without getting booked, just by doing like 7 yellow card challenges the entire time.
I hate that guy. I hate him every time we play him. He's just a rat. Like he's the only one I feel like, other than maybe Holland, and maybe KDB because he always scores against us. Is like he hates Arsenal. Like for some reason, he's always doing some shitty thing. Like, why are you this way? Is this?
I think he's
I
just
feel like
like
you're
this.
compensating for something. Relax.
I think he may just be like this. I think he is just a little freak, and gets away with a lot. It's kind of insane,
Always.
but I don't really care because we won 5-1. I don't want to talk about refs. I'm thrilled when we don't have to talk about refs, because we had to talk about that too much last week, which is why I didn't watch the entire game. I turned it off after the Miles red card last week.
So did
Um,
I.
um, so let's move on once again, and we got a redemption moment from Kai Havertz.
My boy. He was like, you know what? Fuck it, give me the ball. Let me score and relax. That's exactly what he did. On the counterattack as well. On the
Yeah,
counterattack, I feel like we don't get enough transition goals in this game, in this team. And Martinelli gets the ball. He's sprinting into the box. Kai is in the middle of the two center backs and sprints on his outside,
I love
and
that run from
overlaps.
Kai.
I
Such a
was like,
cool run
smart
from Kai.
player, football
Yeah,
IQ. Goes on his outside, gets the ball from Martinelli in the overlap, and cuts inside and shoots into the bottom corner. And I said, I just knew you had something for me today. I just knew
yeah,
you had something for me today because you were very Stina. You miss a chance and then you score another chance.
yeah,
And it's so funny because the timeline was all like, how does he miss a chance like the one he missed and then score that? And I was like, because that's Kai. Like,
yeah.
this
That's
is
the
him.
Havertz experience, baby. Come on.
Yeah. There was, I mean, he didn't get man of the match from like the official Prem or Sky Sports, but he did. He was one of the man of the matches today, stats wise. Got a goal and an assist, and he was doing a lot of fucking running. I tell you that he was doing a lot of
Yeah.
running as he always does. And one thing I love about Kai, I think it's one of my favorite things about him, is that even when he misses a bad chance, because I think the chance that he missed earlier in the first half was one of the worst chances he's missed for us since he's been here. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people, you can talk about the Newcastle game or whatever, Man United game, but that was one of the worst ones because he had so much time to think. Um, but even when he misses chances like that, he never drops his head. He never
Hmm.
drops his head. His body language doesn't change. He's still running around and doing what he has to do. And I love that because I hate that. That's one of my player icks. Like when players do something stupid and then they just don't care anymore. Like it's just whatever. And I'm just like, no. Like you still like we still have the rest of the game to go. Like
Yeah, I think
yeah.
like a player like Holland, for as great as he is, also will go like from the 4th minute to the 35th minute without touching the ball, where you just forget he's there. One of those players where if he doesn't score, granted, this guy scores a
Scores a
fucking
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not. This is not full slander on Holland or anything, but I think there's a bit of preference that I have of like even if you don't get on the score sheet, you are making a positive impact. And I don't think you can argue that Kai doesn't make a positive impact when he play like every single time he plays because he's
Yeah.
constantly doing stuff. And when he does score, it's increased by tenfold because he's doing all this other shit. He's creating chaos that makes City uncomfortable in the back as they're passing it out. That creates these chances. He makes those intelligent runs to put himself in those kinds of positions. Like he is such an underrated player. I understand why he gets criticized. I completely like because he's an awkward player.
Yeah.
Like
He's
he
not
has a
aesthetically
little
pleasing.
yeah. Like he'll score a goal like that, and it's like fuck. He thumped that in. Like let's fucking go. But then he'll also like look like a baby deer sometimes. And so I understand the criticism that he gets, but we were just talking about it earlier. 20 GA for the season, and we're in February.
And I guarantee you he'll have more by the end of the season. We're like, in my opinion, we're probably looking at 25 to 30 GA by the end of the season. We still have
Mm-hmm.
months to go. Months. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we still have months to go in the Champions League as well. So let's see what happens. But either way, like I said in the summer, if you want to, I wanted a winger because if you want to go get a striker, go get Sesko to play under Kai so that somebody can shoulder the burden. Because the only person, in my opinion, that shoulders the burden from Kai from scoring is Saka. Like, because he
Yeah.
scores a lot. He's very efficient, and he's world class. And we don't have a lot of world class players in our team in the front. I was gonna say in our team, but in the front. In the front, we have a lot of world class players in the back. Um, but that's why every miss for Kai feels like the end of the world because we don't know who else is going to score, and that's the problem. We really need to like have somebody shoulder the goal scoring burden, and they did that in this game. Miles Lewis-Skelly pitched in, Odegaard pitched in, and we will talk about Ethan in a second. Pitched in, like that's what you need. You need other people to be like, who cares if you miss? Nobody cares if Salah misses because they know maybe somebody else scores. You know, Noodles or whoever. None of the other teams who are in and around us, they don't get worried when their striker misses because somebody else will probably score. At this point, if Gvardiol ain't scoring for y'all, for City, who's scoring for them? Like
Well, Holland, he has
Holland,
19
yes,
goals this season.
that's
Like,
true. But you know what I mean? Like if it's not those two, then who is it going to be?
no, for sure. Like someone like Foden hasn't been able to shoulder that kind of burden. And it's
He be running from
like
the
been
grind, baby. He be
one
running
of
for the
the
grind.
yeah, one of the criticisms like of Odegaard this season has been that he hasn't been able to shoulder that kind of goal scoring responsibility, which is been one of the dips in form that he's had of just in scoring in general. So seeing all these players kind of taking it upon themselves to put the ball in the back of the net, and if there's anyone that fucking knows how to put the ball in the net, that's Ethan Wanyeri, the 17-year-old,
Yeah.
uh, who like at the one of the last kicks of the game makes it 5-1, makes it a fucking pile on, and just does it in like I guess now a signature finish for him. He's done that twice in 2 games now.
Listen, that when I watched that goal, I imagined Bukayo Saka because
Mm-hmm.
that's Bukayo Saka against Man United from like what, a season or two ago. Like
Oh, that
it was
ruled.
just
That goal ruled.
lovely. Like I was just like, and Ethan was so lively when he came on, and he always is when comes on. But like he was absolutely running that that right side. I was like, oh, like you want to do something today. Like when he cut inside, I was like, oh yeah, it's that actually might go to the back of the net, and it did. And I was like, listen, I'm not pressed about the academy players who are leaving because the ones that we got, whew,
Yeah, truly couldn't care less about Aiden Heaven.
yeah,
I don't care. I'm someone personally who doesn't really pay much attention to the youth ranks. Um, 90% of players in the youth ranks are just not even going to play for Arsenal in any significant way. So there's no reason to be like going die hard on certain players that most likely their senior career is going to be like Bolton Wanderers or something, and not with Arsenal. Obviously, when Ethan made his debut at 15, there's been a lot of hype surrounding him. There's been a lot of discourse surrounding him of like, oh, Arteta isn't letting him and MLS like have their time. They're having their time now. I think we're being proven that it was worth wait.
yeah. It's time to be patient with
100%.
them, just like he was patient with Saliba. Send him
Yeah.
out on loan, let him learn his trade without the bright lights of the Emirates and in the Prem, where everything that you do is scrutinized, no matter good or bad. Like let him learn and let him like relax first, and then when you start actually getting more minutes, then you can show what you're worth. And it's not all on you because
Mm-hmm.
we both know when Saka comes back, that's still his position. It's not like he's playing everybody off the pitch, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do to keep in the squad. I want to be here. Don't sell me to somewhere else. Don't send me out on loan. I want to be a part of this squad that's going to win stuff.
Yeah, I think it's something that like makes the Marino signing. It made a lot of sense at the time for this reason, but I think especially watching someone like Wanyeri break out this season has been seeing like we signed a 28-year-old central midfielder. Obviously, the resale value on that kind of player is not super high, but he's someone that like does a lot of really solid things for the team and also doesn't block a pathway for someone like Wanyeri. If Marino is a coming off the bench guy for the next 3 years for Arsenal, that doesn't necessarily it's a bad thing because there's a good chance that his spot got taken by someone like Wanyeri.
Exactly.
Of that's going to play in that spot. What I think is going to be interesting with him is where he ends up in a long-term position because I think as of right now, Miles Lewis-Skelly is our starting left back. Like he started against Man City today with 4 left backs on our bench. We had a lot of options today of who we could have started there, and the 18-year-old did. Um, I think the question is where does Wanyeri end up? Because I think the most obvious open position is left center mid, but he's looked so good off the right, and he has like this ability to like have these kinds of finishes cutting in on his left foot. And I feel like you don't want to get rid of that. But you also don't want to get rid of the chemistry that Saka and Odegaard have on that side. So I think it's going to be a weird balancing act for Arteta as Ethan knocks on that door because he's knocking on that door. He just scored in the Champions League and then scored against Man City. He's right there on the verge of like I demand to be a starter because I am one of the best 11 players at Arsenal Football Club at 17 years old.
I think his future is definitely on the inside. He's going to continue to be Odegaard back up because we need to rest Odegaard sometimes. He plays every game 90 minutes most of the time, and because we just don't have anybody who can play in that position, especially now Fabi is gone. And now that Ethan is really coming into his own, I think that once we get another winger, if not to like back up Saka, then like Saka back, he's coming inside for sure. He's going to be in the middle. I don't think his future is on the wing at all.
I agree with
He's
that.
definitely somebody that needs a lot of touches, who wants a lot of touches. That's also one of my player icks. One of like people who don't want the ball at their feet. Ethan is not one of those. He always wants the ball at his feet to do something. He wants to link up with his teammates and score from outside the box or run into the box and try to get a goal. And his production numbers already is kind of crazy for how young he is and how many for how little he has played in minutes wise.
Yeah.
It's like a goal every like 120 minutes or something like that.
That's a crazy scoring pace, and
It's
there
absurd.
it's no. It makes Arteta's comments a month or two ago about how he could play number 9, he could play anywhere. Kind of like become more realistic, where it's like, yeah, man, this guy truly could play anywhere, and he would do a job there. I think Miles is the same way. I think both these guys are like cut from the same cloth, where it's just like you put them on a soccer field, they will do well. They are just fucking great soccer players.
I agree. I agree. I
Uh,
can't wait to see how he develops, how both of them develop.
Yeah, it's very very exciting, and it's also just like we needed this obviously this season. Like this has been such a tough season for availability for Arsenal. Of like losing star players at certain times. Hell, even we lost Wanyeri for a good amount of time, right, as he was kind of like proving to be a good fill-in for that Saka spot. And so having these two guys, this be their breakthrough season, and I think we kind of saw it in preseason. Obviously, preseason isn't like a great like tell all the time, but like they played a lot in preseason, and at the beginning of the
Yeah.
season when we were making predictions, was like, yeah, I think Ethan's gonna get like 10 Premier League starts this year. I don't know if he'll get 10 Premier League starts, but he's played a lot of Premier League minutes. And rightfully so. He's 100% deserved that. And until further notice, left back is Miles Lewis-Skelly's position, and no one is starting over him unless he's injured or needs a
I don't
rest.
know if I believe that. I think that Arteta still really rates Calafiori and what he brings to the team, and
And
I think
rightfully
they'll
so.
still play a lot.
I'm a Calafiori fan as well. I'm not going back on that at all. I
No, I think
100%
it's
am a
going to be a
fan of him.
tactics thing, though. Like depending on who we're playing against, then he'll play Calafiori or Miles, and I'm
Here's a
okay with that because they need to rotate a little bit.
here's an interesting question. When we play Liverpool, everyone's healthy. Who's playing left back for you? Because you're
I
going
would
up
put
against
Miles
Salah. Like
Lewis-Skelly.
this is a
Yeah,
scary
I would put
position to
Miles
be in a left
Lewis-Skelly
back.
for sure.
See, I think that says a lot.
Just because, yeah, but I say that because I know how Salah likes to play, and I feel like you need somebody who is not diving into tackles. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
Like,
Yeah.
Calafiori likes to dive into tackles, and he also is a little bit he's like slower than Miles Lewis-Skelly. So if Salah gets by you, you're Zinchenko at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're just racing back. So I would definitely play him, but against like some of the smaller teams or some of the teams that we're gonna have more possession and we need more like productive numbers, like play Calafiori. Have him shooting from outside the box. I don't care because that
I
guy.
think
One thing about him, his finish is crazy. He's probably one of our best finishers in the team, and he's a left back.
I'm not going to go as far as to say that. He
I will
scored some nice
absolutely
goals so
will.
far,
That's
but I will not
crazy.
go as far as to say that. I think Calafiori is very good. I think I really like him as a player, but unless Miles is injured or needs a rest, I don't think there's a reason to start anyone else at left back other than him.
But he will need a rest though, because we're still
Yeah,
gonna. I mean,
100%.
I know we're gonna be out of two competitions, FA Cup and Carabao soon. But we're gonna be playing. We're still gonna be playing Champions League. And I think that in those games, you're probably gonna want Calafiori. You're gonna have a lot more space. Champions League teams do not play like Prem teams where they sit 11 men basically in the box. um, so you're gonna want to play Calafiori to try to get a goal. Because that's going to be more important. But like when you're swapping around, especially in our left back position, which is a cursed position for us right now, those left backs drop like flies for us. Like, I do not want to overplay Miles Lewis-Skelly so he gets injured. Like, for sure,
Completely
whoever
fair.
plays whatever game, I'm fine with it. You know?
Well, the good news is we have 72 left backs. So like we have a lot of options of players who can play there and
And
do a good
Tierney's
job
staying
there.
until the summer.
Yay! KT, we got some maybe a couple more KT cameos in the next few months. Looking ahead, Arsenal has a second leg of the Carabao Cup against Newcastle this week, a game that I would love us to forfeit and just go to
Honestly.
Dubai early. Honestly, I don't care. I could not care less. If we get a win, great. But like honestly, I'm very okay with us just going to Dubai early. However, regardless of whether we're not going to forfeit 100%. Arteta just simply won't do that. Also, he'd be burned at a stake by the media if we forfeited a game.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good chance that we don't do that, but we will still have a 10-day break after that game, which is a huge breath of fresh air. And I think it's going to allow for a nice warm weather camp like we had last year.
Yeah. I need to
Which,
see Ben
as we saw,
soon. I would
yeah,
love to see Ben soon. Go get your
as
tan and come back.
as we saw last year, that was very, very invigorating for the team, and very, very huge to help us go on the kind of run that we went on to close last season. Obviously, it's a little bit later than it was in last season, because it's in February and not January. But that kind of rest and relaxation, getting guys back healthy. Saka will be back in the next month, hopefully, probably right around our Champions League, our round of 16 game.
So they say. I'm actually really stressed about that because I kind of don't want him to play the rest of the season. I want him to be off for the rest of the season because if we play him the rest of the season, he's going to play for. I don't think there's a tournament this summer, but he's going to find some way to play for England, do something, relax. I don't want them to call you up. I want you to pretend to be injured until next the season starts.
I
Just
think
relax.
I understand where you're coming from, and if like by the time Saka is healthy again, we are like, all right, everything's kind of lost, and we shut him down for the season. I'm not against that, but if we're in a spot when Saka comes back where we're still deep in the Champions League and we've potentially closed the gap a little bit to Liverpool, we can't not have our best player playing. We just, and also, even if we aren't in a spot, like even if we're like, Saka comes back, we've got one leg of the Champions League left where we're like down going into it and we're 9 points behind Liverpool, there's no fucking way you're going to tell Bukayo Saka, no, you're not going to play. He's going to make sure that he
Listen,
plays.
that's on Arteta. You better tell him he can't play. Like it's what we did with Saliba. Like when you didn't tell Saliba not to play and he got hurt in that dead rubber. I'm telling you, injuries like Saka's injury, I think he comes back like he's somebody who's very focused on his recovery and like focused on his body and maintaining his fitness. So I have no like qualms about him coming back next season and being fit and like getting into form and stuff like that. I have no worries about it. I know a lot of people are like, well, it's knee injury. I'm not worried about him. But rushing him back potentially for this season is something that would stress me out because if he potentially re-injures himself, that is not good. And
For the
we already
record,
know you guys didn't want to get anybody. You don't want to get any attackers in the January transfer window. I know we still have a day left, but listen,
for the
just
record, I don't want us to rush Saka back. Like, I want him to come back when he's healthy. And if we still have something to play for, I absolutely want him playing because he's our best player and he's going to be wanting to be playing. And that is if he's healthy to play. Like, if he's still 2 weeks out, we shouldn't play him early. But, like, if he's on track, we should absolutely play him when we have him. It like, especially if there is still something to play for. If he hits some roadblocks and all of a sudden he's not back till April and then everything looks lost by then, we're out of the Champions League, we're like Liverpool's close to locking up the league, yeah, shut him down. But if he's back in March and we've still got a shot to do something, you've got to bring him back 100%.
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
If they're still doing this, he'll be back in March. We'll see what he looks like because I would very much not want to play him because we both know he'll play every game next season. just
Oh
like
yeah.
he basically played this season. And you'll be playing every game for England too. While you can get rest, please get rest.
No, it's wonderful that we're not in the dumbass Club World Cup because that means all of our players are going to rest through the entirety of the summer, which is really, really nice.
Roger's
But
just sitting on his ass, not doing this damn thingy. Go make yourselves a union and shut this shit down. Stop wasting
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Nonsense.
100%. Union up, boys. That's going to be all for us this week for the SPS Arsenal edition. Arsenal won 5-1
They
against Man
came to the
City
Emirates and
today.
got shellacked.
I'm
Slammed.
walking on air. I can't lose for the rest of the week. This is wonderful. Gabby, thank you for joining. You can follow us both on Blue Sky. I'm Mitch Piotr on Blue Sky. Gabby.
Nocturnal Gunner on Blue Sky and on Twitter. You can also catch Coach's instant reaction, which will probably be up way before this is up. So,
And the main pod, which will be out this week as well. Thank you all for listening, and you know what to say.
peace.
Peace.
Hey folks, this is Dean from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.